LG Washer Dryer Combo model WM3998HBA. This isn't a review of the machine specifically, but I will offer my opinion on it, and I am liking this machine at home. I just don't think it's probably the best choice for most costume shops. So if you happen to have one in your costume shop, you might need some additional instructions and some guidance. If you have one at home, you're definitely probably going to need some additional instructions and guidance because the user manual isn't as forthcoming with information as you would like it to be. It does have extended manual information, but you have to click the QR code on page 17, and that takes you to the web PDF of more information. A lot of reviews online have been saying this has zero information about the dryer, and yes, the printed book here has zero information about the dryer. Zero, which seems like an oversight, but it does have a QR link that gives you much more information on the various cycles and does talk about the dryer functions and how they operate. On page 17, here's the QR link. I'll put this still in the video, so if you want to take a screenshot on your phone, you can do that and then go to the QR link. I'll also put the web link in the description of the video, so you can find it there. But here it is on page 17, additional information and operation. Just go to your camera, put your camera on that QR link, and my phone says open this in Safari, and it takes me straight to, there we go. And there's page 17 with operation, before use, sorting laundry, how to sort laundry, loading the washer, adding cleaning products, and here on page 23 of it is the control panel, and that's the most important thing, more explanation about the control panel. I still haven't figured out how to get my phone to communicate Wi-Fi with the machine and be able to use their app. That's supposed to be kind of straightforward. It wasn't straightforward, and if I figure that out, I will create a second video that talks about how to get that to happen. The biggest thing with this model is that you kind of have to have a mind shift, a mental shift about what laundry is and how laundry gets done. Again, if you're in the costume shop, you want to have industrial machines, you want to have high capacity machines, and you want things to be able to get done quickly. And because this is a combo washer dryer and it's a ventless dryer, that means it doesn't dry as fast as your normal tumble dry dryer. And that's again one of the bigger complaints on a lot of the reviews is how much time it takes. But I think we have a mindset that laundry is a chore and laundry is something we have to commit time to on the weekend, and we want to commit as little time as possible to it. And we want to get it all done in one big chunk. And I think that's where the mind shift will help you accept and use this machine to your advantage. If you are coming with that mindset, thinking that I will use this machine and get everything done in one fell swoop, you're going to be frustrated when the wash cycles that you choose are 2.5, 3 hours long, and your dry cycles can be 2 to 3 hours long. But if you approach it a little differently, as a kind of, I put my stuff in here and I walk away and I go about my business, and I can program a wash and a dry cycle and it gets done when it gets done, and I don't have an immediate need to have it done right now, then it kind of frees you up to do a whole lot more stuff. You don't have to dedicate 2, 3, 4 hours on the weekend to laundry. You can do laundry all week long as it comes up. You can put laundry in at night, go to bed and wake up and it's dry and clean and put it away. So just a little bit of a mental shift, and you can see that this machine can give you a whole different sense of freedom from the chore of laundry. The control panel is largely intuitive and relatively easy to figure out, but there are some little things like some cycles you can't use some features with, like the steam, and you can't do bedding and also pre-program it to dry automatically. So some of those things are detailed in the extended instructions online, but not everything is detailed in the extended instructions. The power button is right there. That turns the machine on, wakes it up. And this is going to be the play button, pause, and it's got play and pause. It's go and stop, or go and pause. It automatically defaults to your normal cycle. And if you turn it the first time to the left, it stays at normal. And then you can start cycling around to heavy duty, bedding, sanitary, allergen, bright whites, tub clean. And then over here, if I get my phone attached, you can download additional cycles that aren't built into the machine. You can take your downloaded cycle and you can upload one to this machine, and it will be the one that's in the downloaded. And that will be the one that will run with the downloaded cycle. And then to run another downloaded cycle, you have to replace that with another uploaded cycle to the machine. Drain and spin, speed wash. I haven't used speed wash yet, but I understand that's a quick 15-minute wash, and it's faster than the normal, longer front loader wash. Towels, delicates, permanent press, and sportswear. Those are all your basic cycles. Sportswear, it uses a different function because sportswear often is water resistant, and it will adapt to cycle more and work harder to get that water into the water resistant items. I think sportswear doesn't allow you to do an automatic dry cycle as a result of that. And the same thing with bedding. Bedding is not your usual sheets and pillowcases. Bedding is big things like pillows and comforters. And again, with bedding, you can't automatically program a dry cycle to follow it. I think the assumption is that you've got big bulky pillows or big bulky comforters, and you want to make sure that it's not off balance when you start the dry. So you have to kind of be present at the beginning of your dry cycle to make sure it doesn't get off balance. We'll just do a normal cycle here. Normal cycle, you can add all of these features: steam, fresh care. Fresh care is a second option. I can turn on and off steam. I think if I hold this for 3 seconds. Yeah, hold it for 3 seconds. That's the fresh care cycle. What fresh care does is that allows the machine to continue to tumble periodically for up to a number of hours after your wash cycle. So it won't immediately unlock after the wash cycle. And that way, if you leave your wash in there for an extended period of time, it will continually tumble to prevent wrinkle buildup. So that's an option you can select. I've used the steam function quite a bit. I haven't used the pre-wash or the remote start, the delay in the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is for programming and connecting your phone. Again, I haven't been successfully done that. And I haven't done the add garments function, but those should be kind of straightforward. I'm going to turn off this. So it defaults to turbo wash, and turbo wash is a slightly accelerated wash cycle, speed up your wash cycle time. You can choose cold wash instead of hot wash. You can turn off turbo wash. I can't turn off turbo wash. It won't let me turn off turbo wash. Look at that. I don't know why it won't let me turn off turbo wash. I am supposed to be able to turn on turbo wash or turn it off in the normal cycle, according to the manual, but it doesn't let me do that. And the same thing with the heavy duty cycle, but I don't know why I'm not actually able to do that. Maybe turn it on and off with bedding. You can turn it on and off with sanitary. You can turn it on and off with allergen. Bright whites. It's not an option with tub clean. not option with drain and spin. You can do it with speed wash, with towels, not with delicates, with permanent press, and sportswear, but I can't do it with normal, maybe Cheesy likes the clean clothes. This is Cheeseman. He loves the clean clothes, and he loves being on top of the washing machine when it's washing and drying. Guess he's going to watch us from up there. He's going to be the center of attention. You aren't allowed to do no spin when the turbo wash is on. I do know that from the manual. Just doesn't let me turn off the turbo wash with normal or heavy duty. Fascinating. There is a chart on page 28 of the additional functions and guidelines that you can get on the downloadable PDF. And it says that turbo wash can be turned on and off with these functions. It says it can't be used in delicates and it can't be used in sportswear. And we just discovered that. But I should be able to turn it on and off. I don't think this manual and chart is 100% accurate because it also says that the dry function is available for everything except delicates and sportswear as well. But as you will see, when I go to bedding, it does not allow me to choose a dry cycle. So the manual's there, it's got some charts. The charts aren't 100% accurate, unfortunately. On the bedding cycle, its normal wash cycle is an hour, but the turbo wash knocks 5 minutes off of it, 55 minutes. So let's go back to normal. You can choose cold wash. I've chosen some extra rinses. I can choose extra rinses, up to 3 extra rinses. And this is a rinse and spin cycle only and a control lock. You can choose your temperature here, just cycle through warm, hot, extra hot, tap cold, cold, warm cycle. Spin, high, extra high. It's not letting me do a no spin. And soil, heavy, light, normal. Now here's how the dry time works. I've selected my original cycle. And I've done all my other features. Select steam cycle because I want to get my bedding extra clean and kill all the bed bugs. We choose extra rinse, just to give it an extra rinse. Now I've lost my temperature function because I've chosen the steam cycle, and I've lost the soil function because I've chosen the steam cycle. I still have some various spin cycle options. But once I choose dry, either turbo or normal dry time, I now only have 2 spin selections options available, high or extra high. And high or extra high, the extra high is going to get more water out and reduce your dry time. So I have turbo dry, which is a faster dry cycle, a normal dry cycle, or I can choose in 30-minute increments how long I want my dry cycle to be. So 30, an hour 30, 2 hours, 2:30, 3 hours, up to 3 hours and 30 minutes. Let's say you just want to do a dry only. You can put the power on, and then you can choose dry only. Now you see dry only turbo says I'm going to dry for 7 hours and 54 minutes. Dry normal, I'm going to dry for 8 hours and 49 minutes. I don't know why those dry only cycles are set to those times, but that's what the normal dry only cycles are. But then you always have the option of going to time and selecting an hour or 2 hours. Usually 2 to 3 hours can get most things, most normal size loads dry. Again, I've chosen dry here. I only have no spin or high or extra high. And this is important with the dry cycle. Let's just choose, say I choose 30 minutes. It's going to run for 55 minutes because it's going to do 30 minutes of automatic spin. And it thinks it should spin just in case you brought wet laundry in from somewhere else and it's not as spun out as this machine would like it before the dry. So it will do the spin cycles to get the extra water out so that the dry actually happens. If it's already been washed and it's already been spun and you don't want that extra spin time, then you choose no spin. And it drops down to 31 minutes, and the first minute is just getting itself oriented, and it does 30 minutes of drying. So that's kind of essential to operating the dry only feature. Choose your dry time, turn off your spin, and that will get you the most efficient use out of it. You won't be going through extra spin cycles and taking more time, so that can reduce your time. The difference between turbo and normal is the time is obviously going to be the difference. But the other thing that happens in the dry cycle is that the machine is spraying water on the tub so that it doesn't get too hot and burn the clothes. And it helps keep it cool without overheating. The turbo cycle does that more frequently. And as a result, it uses more energy because it's using more water. So if you want to be the most cost effective and energy efficient, you should choose normal and not be in a hurry and try to dry it in turbo mode. Let's do a load of laundry. I would normally hand wash nicer clothes that I don't want to get really destroyed by my old washer. I'm thinking delicate or speed wash might be the feature here. They don't get really soiled with dirt. I'm not working in the shop, I'm not working outside in them, the nicer shirts that I'm going to put in here. And I'll probably add a couple of just generic work t-shirts in there as well. So we're going to do the speed wash. Alright, we're going to load our nicer shirts in here and do the speed wash cycle. It recommends 3 or 4 garments. I've got, looks like 6, and a small kitchen towel, and that will be fine. Going to go light on the laundry detergent. Power on. Speed wash. 15 minutes speed wash, that's pretty quick. I'm going to change the temperature to warm. Extra high, light soil, that's good. We'll just do an hour of dry time afterwards and see what happens. So at the end of the cycle, it gives you a little song and dance, and that should be it. We did a 15-minute wash cycle. It turned out to be about an hour and a half because it was a 15-minute wash cycle plus some rinse and spins. And my clothes are dry. So contrary to all the negative reviews, that was a wash and a dry cycle. That was 90 minutes. I think that's pretty awesome. It was only 6 or 7 garments, but it was pretty awesome. I'm going to do a towel cycle. So we're going to load our towels in. It is a 4.5 cubic foot machine. So it's the largest one on the market. That's a washer dryer combo. I think it's the only full-size washer dryer combo on the market. All the others are 2.3 cubic feet, designed for small condos and other locations. But this one's a 4.5 cubic foot bin. It will do your normal sized load of laundry. I do recommend not overpacking it, and again, mindset here, small loads, do them more frequently, put them in, forget about them. It's kind of like being on board the Starship Enterprise with your washing machine, and it also makes little gentle Starship Enterprise cooing noises while it works. It's kind of a space-agey machine. I kind of like it. All right, power it up. We're going to choose towels. And I'm going to choose, it won't let me steam my towels because it's probably already got that built in. I could choose hot or extra hot if I want. I can choose an extra rinse, and I'm going to choose normal dry time. It's not going to give me a time yet because it has to assess the size of the load of the machine. That's why I put in the machine. So until it knows how much weight it's got and how much volume, it can't give me an accurate wash and dry time. The machine does only use HE soaps and laundry detergent. Make sure it is HE, high efficiency laundry detergents, not HE compatible, but actual HE laundry detergent. The high efficiency laundry detergent has a reduced sudsing capacity. If you use regular laundry detergent in these front loaders, it can get to be too much suds, and it can be hard to get all that soap out of the laundry and out of the machine, and it can be bad for the machine. HE. So I've got my laundry in the machine, I've got my soap in the soap dispenser. If I wanted to use other chemicals and other things, I've got liquid bleach, I've got a pre-wash cycle if I wanted to do the pre-wash as well. If it says really dirty and you need to do a pre-wash cycle and then the regular wash cycle. But you just press go. Assess the size of the load of the laundry. There we go, 4 hours and 6 minutes with a wash cycle, a rinse cycle with an extra rinse, a spin cycle, and a dry cycle. And that's a pretty normal time for a load of laundry for this machine. And at first glance, it seems like a lot of time, But know that these front loaders and their various cycles, unless you're doing that speed wash cycle, they usually are an hour, 90-minute cycles. I added an extra rinse, so it's probably 2 hours of this time is just the wash, rinse, and spin cycle. The impression is that this is taking longer and longer, and it's just such a long machine to do everything. But it's also a front loader, and it's got those added features, and depending on which cycles you choose, and depending on how dirty your laundry is, that's going to determine the length of your wash cycle. And then adding a couple of hours of dry time will determine the length of your overall cycle. So now we just sit and wait, and it does its thing, and I can go about my business, and I will come back to probably dry towels. Towels and some fabrics may not be dry in the cycle that it chooses, and if that's the case, I can choose another 30-minute or 1 hour cycle of dry time afterwards. Sometimes I put a load of laundry in at night, and it's dry in the morning, but I want to fluff it up, so I throw it on for another 30 minutes of dry cycle in the morning before I pull it out and put it away. The main thing about it is just navigating all the controls and features and not being overwhelmed by this a large array of options, and not being overwhelmed by the lack of immediate instructions in the printed manual that you get with the machine. And to try and experiment and try things out and see what works and see what happens and see how the different cycles work together and interact. We're going to let this be, and we will come back in 4 hours and see what we've got. Just listen to that gentle 24th century Starship Enterprise space age cooing noises. You feel like you're in the future. All right, our first wash cycle here is done. I washed the towels with the dry cycle. The total time I think was just over 4 hours. The drying time was probably more than 2.5 hours. And so that means the wash load with the extra rinse was probably about 90 minutes. So sometimes if you pull these out right after a cycle finishes, they're going to feel a little damp. And that's because of the humidity inside the dryer. But they are actually drying and or dry. And if they're not dry enough, you can always put them on another dry cycle for another 30 minutes. And that usually does the trick. These feel like they could be damp, but I think just airing them out and folding them, they're not going to be moist. If I wanted to, I could send these through for another 30 minutes to get a little bit of that dampness out of there. One of the key features of the dry cycle is that it does this sort of intermittent dry cycle and causes the drying clothes to tumble and fall and tumble and fall as it spins and stops, spins and stops, as opposed to your commercial dryers, which throw everything to the outside edge, and when you do some heavy things like pillows, those pillows can get stuck to the edge and never fall and never tumble and get air circulated around. So it will compensate for its lack of aggressive heat that a vented dryer might have by doing that sort of thing. And again, it happens all in the background, so I don't even have to think about it. I just walk away, and 4 hours later, I've got clean, dry laundry. We should talk about the buildup on the seal. This is a non-vented dryer, so the lint has to go somewhere. And the lint tends to build up on the seal here and on the door itself. You can see the door is quite covered with lint and cat hair and other stuff. So what I normally do is just wipe that off with a microfiber towel. And that's the best way to get that off. And I use a damp microfiber towel. And there we go. We've got some of the lint off. The same thing with the seal. Easiest way to do that is just rub it with a microfiber towel, and that pulls up a lot of this lint. It does have a lot of internal forms. Don't know if we can invert this. Oh yeah. And pull this back and get in here. It's been lots of buildup. So this is not really specified in the manual, but this will want to be part of your routine maintenance on each load or every other load or quite frequently. It's not going to get to probably fire starter levels the way lint can with a standard dryer, but you don't want this stuff just building up, encrusting in here. That's not too bad. I've had much more lint from one load of cat hair filled stuff. There's one more maintenance thing that we have to do with this machine, and do it pretty regularly. The manual suggests once a week is best, but if you are leaving your machine for long periods of time, you might want to do it after your last load of laundry. So if the machine just sits there for several days or a week or two before you do another load of laundry, it is collecting water in its reservoir. And the reservoir is down here. And in this reservoir, there is a drain, and there's also another filter to catch some big chunks of lint. And theoretically, according to the salesperson, a coin or something else that might have fallen out of a pocket would end up deposited in there, and you can retrieve it. This opens just like that. There are some instructions here on the panel. And I usually use a shallow bowl, something like this, because it's really low to the ground and you can't really get a big bucket there. You can't get the water to drain up and over into the lid of a bucket. So something shallow works best. And there's a drain valve right here. And you just pull that drain valve out, and you unscrew the plug, and water will drain out just like that into my collection bin. So do this once a week at least. I think it's been 2 weeks since I've done it. I'm behind, but you don't want that water sitting in there and going stagnant. Once that is fully drained and empty, then you can unscrew the filter. And let's see how nasty this is after a couple of weeks. And it's, oh, that's really bad. That's the worst it's been. That is the worst it's been. Lots of gunk. So obviously 2 weeks, or however long it's been since I've done it, 2.5 weeks is too long. Change that out, clean that out more regularly. And then once it's clean, you can screw it back in. Make sure it's tight. And then push this back in. You can either screw it or just push it back in. Either way works. And then slide this back in and snap it up here. You need to make sure that this is out of the way so that when this closes, it can close all the way. And that is our other piece of maintenance. Besides the lint clean out inside, there's this. And that should be all the regular routine maintenance.